So we went from generations where people didn't talk about mental health, people didn't talk about what was bothering them. You took it on the chin, and then you went outside and you pretended like nothing was happening. You pretended like everything was fine. You just swept everything under the rug. The overcorrection then becomes, well, I don't want to experience anything traumatic ever. How does that end up looking? You get trigger warnings for everything. Don't like something, you should just avoid it. It's okay for you to have these crazy boundaries over every single interaction that you have in life. And what this has created is a generation where they will just avoid communication altogether to avoid being triggered. They will avoid communication altogether to avoid feeling awkward, to avoid feeling uncomfortable. If you're seeing every situation that involves you speaking to another human being as something that could potentially trigger you, then of course you're going to be a hermit. Of course you're not going to communicate. Of course you're going to avoid human interaction that isn't curated. That's why you're seeing the rise of echo chambers. Echo chambers, they've been around, but they're on steroids nowadays. And that's because people want to avoid any sort of conflict. They want confirmation bias after confirmation bias. So how does this connect to the whole Gen Z doesn't talk? If you talk to people, that runs the risk of you getting triggered. So I think that a lot of younger Gen Z, they avoid conversations so they can avoid their triggers.